Hey, good afternoon, y'all. This is the man in the black mask. I did this story yesterday, but then I noticed that the page was broken and it didn't come out right. But now I fixed it, and now it has everything in full detail, okay? So hopefully this updated version, will probably do a little better, okay? New York City correction officer assaulted at Rikers Island jail suffers fractured rib injuries to face and head, okay? So this is from June 1st. So when I when I walk into the word Tuesday, I'm gonna say last Tuesday, okay? Because June 1st was last Tuesday, and not this Tuesday, which is June 8th, okay? So here it is. A correction officer suffered a fractured rib, a busted lip, and sustained injuries to his head and eye after an inmate assaulted him at a Rikers Island jail. Officials confirmed last Tuesday. Darrell Bonilla, who was being held at the Otis Bantam Correctional Center on kidnapping, assault, and weapons possession charges, court records show, asked the officer Thursday at around 9 a.m. about picking out some items from a jail pantry. Wow. Plenty more where that came from. Because a lot of these inmates are sneaky. They have other plans for these bum-ass COs that like to fuck with inmates for no reason. Anyway, the guard dialed another correction officer to help Bonilla out with the pantry. The officer told the Daily News. But within seconds of hanging up the phone, the inmate, who is a member of the Bloods, according to an internal incident obtained by the news, socked the officer in the head. Wow. I wonder if it's a lock encasing a sock. Because they use that in jail, too. Use that to bust people's heads open and shit. The guy walked up to me, punched me, and then I'm like blocked out on the floor, said the officer, whose name is being withheld due to possible retribution from inside the facility. Yeah, because some of the inmates might try to kill him for ratting him out. The blood that attacked him. He fears retribution from the gangs, well, he should. Them motherfuckers, you don't play with them, son. You don't play with the fucking gang members. Your ass will get killed down there, son. They tell you to do something, you gotta shut up and fucking do it, son. Shut the fuck up and do as you're told, and your ass won't get killed or fucked up. Somebody else at the jail said when I was on the ground, he kicked me and punched me, said the officer, who said his colleagues watched surveillance video of the incident and relayed to him what they saw. Wow. When he finally came to, the officer began calling out for help. I tried to stand up, but I couldn't. I was dizzy. I could barely open my eyes. I was yelling to the other inmate to help me, but nobody comes, he said. So I dragged myself back to the gate. A colleague discovered the injured officer and helped him to the infirmary. He was then taken to New York Presbyterian Queens Hospital, where he was treated for his injuries. Wow. For the past 8 years, the Department of Correction has housed inmates by their gang affiliations, which has emboldened the gangs to create little armies within the jails and lash out and assault our officers with impunity, said COA President Benny Basho Jr., who called on the agency and Commissioner Vincent Schiraldi to disband gang-affiliated housing areas at the jail. Now, I'm going to stop myself right there. I read an article about the Otis Bantam Correctional Center, and it stated only Bloods can call. So, yeah, that told me right there that most of the people that's locked up at Otis Bantam are Bloods gang members, given, the slang, right? OBCC, the slang acronym, only Bloods can call. Yeah, so you understand that. How many more officers have to have their ribs, noses, and eye sockets broken until the department finally puts safety and security first? Got it. Correction Department Press Secretary Jason Kirsten said the agency is investigating the incident. Assaulting people is as much a crime in our facilities as it is on the street, and we will work with the Bronx DA to hold this individual accountable. Well, should be responsible, not accountable, because it's up to the defendant to decide whether or not he or she wants to hold himself or herself accountable. So I think instead of them staying accountable, it should be responsible. It should read like this: assaulting people is as much a crime in our facilities as it is on the streets, and we will work to hold the Bronx DA to hold this individual responsible, okay, not accountable, okay, because it's up to us to be accountable, not them. and more importantly, do all we can to productively occupy people in our custody to reduce violence and ensure the safety of those who live and work here. Person said in a statement. The rate of assaults on staff increased by over 23% July 1st, 2020 through October 31, 2020, according to the most recent preliminary mayor's management report. Now, it's worth noting that violence at Rikers Island has been on the rise post-pandemic, and it's probably going to get worse too, because all of us do understand why some of these inmates just fucking lash out in the middle of nowhere, especially when they're isolated 24/7. Even the kids is having it worse, because I heard about the shit that goes on at the Robert Endeavoring Center. All the teens attacking the staff and all this other stuff. Probably tired of the way they was being treated. So whoever the Bloods gang member was that fucked up this CO, that CO probably did some shit to provoke the guy. You never know. He should be lucky that it wasn't the whole gang that jumped in, because they probably would have fucking killed him. Okay? I'm not saying this to preach violence against the police. I may have a disliking towards the police, but never would I ever encourage people to resort to violence towards police or any member of authority, let alone legal authority. I mean, that's not something I would preach. So I'm just saying, if we're inmates locked up in jail or prison, we deserve to be treated with respect. You don't treat us like fucking dogs and expect us to not fight back and do something about this. Because trust me, if I was in jail, I wouldn't want nobody to fuck with me like that. No inmates, definitely no guards. But you got no idea what people like us go through and what we're capable of. Trust me, we can get just as sneaky as the other motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Me and my caseworker was talking about that. And I told my case manager point blank, if the issue ain't the inmates, it most definitely is the motherfucking guards. The sneaky son of a bitches that they are. They think they can just fuck with the inmates and not accept nothing to happen to them. Well, guess what? That's tough shit. You may be inmates, but we're going to fight back if you fuck with us. You come into our territory, we will then put our foot up your ass. And that's that. Okay? And yeah, I think they need to shut down Rikers. Because now it's starting to look like a fucking zoo out there. You know that, and I know that. If any of you have been to Rikers, okay, you know what I'm talking about, okay? But I'll tell you, it's not a good fucking sight. Think about Khalid Browder. Think about what those jerk-offs did to him inside that jail. He didn't even do shit. He was accused of stealing a backpack, but he was never convicted of a crime. And yet they fuck with him like that. They fucked his head up so bad that he hung himself from his mother's AC. Outside the fucking window. I mean, 2 years after he got out of Rikers, he fucking killed himself. Well, not before he did several more suicide attempts prior to his actual suicide. But he had severe PTSD as a result of not only being confined, but being chronically abused. Not just mentally, but physically. 24/7, the whole 9 yards. I mean, I know a lot of you is getting the shits right now, thinking, damn, this could have been me. This could have been my kid. This could have been my grandkid. I urge all of you, those of you who have friends and family locked up on Rikers Island, especially if they're kids, please say a prayer for them. Pray that nothing happens to these people in jail. They may be detainees, but they do not deserve to be abused like that. Now, I'm not trying to defend this gang member's actions, but I'm just saying, people do lash out after a while. There's a limit as to how much shit a person can take before he or she resorts to violence when all is enough. I mean, enough is enough. Unfortunately, we're going to snap and do something if you keep fucking pushing us. So don't think for 1 second we're going to sit back like bitches and take shit from each and every one of you fucking chumps. Because we're not. Fucking police ain't shit nowadays, man. I dislike the police, but I would never preach violence against them. And they get away with murder for far too long. And I do want to see some reform, too. I also want to see jail reform so that every inmate gets treated with dignity and respect. Okay? I was falsely accused of a crime and I almost got sent to Rikers. I could have been Khalid Browder before Khalid Browder. Hell, I could have been one of the Central Park Five. You never know. So you should check out this documentary, What If They Saw Us? It's very fucking interesting. I mean, you'll love it. If you got Netflix, watch that shit, if it's still there. But I'm telling you, the criminal justice system is broken, man. Especially towards people of color. They don't do that shit to the white man, but yet they do it to the black man. I mean, what the fuck? But I'm telling you, half the people that's locked up have serious addiction and mental health issues. And they deserve way more than just fair treatment, okay? They deserve the best treatment possible. I would root for every disabled or special needs prisoner to get proper treatment so that they don't have to get violent all the time, either towards another inmate or towards the staff. And I also think that the staff should be retrained too in how to deal with certain inmates, let alone inmates that cause trouble, you know? Because I did read about some cases of excessive force used on the inmates at the jail, especially the teens. Now, that has been on the rise since COVID-19 first hit. Just like street crime in general, hate crimes targeting blacks and Asians. And I gotta admit, though, this needs to stop, man. I want Rikers to shut down. Even if de Blasio ain't in office no more, Rikers Island still needs to shut down. It is not safe. If it ain't safe for us, it ain't safe for y'all, it ain't safe for no one. It definitely ain't safe for your friends or other family and ancestors neither. So you ought to think about that. And I also want to see action from Letitia James, because I know she's seen half this shit already. And I would like to think that she's at a loss of what to do with the fucked up jail. But I do want to see something done about this. Criminal justice reform would be a good start. You know that, and I know that. It will be a good fucking start. And I wouldn't wish this shit upon nobody. So, if anything, I just hope that cop makes it, right? That CO at the jail, and thinks about what he might have done to that dude that caused him to get sneaky like that, But I gotta admit, though, something went wrong. I would not be surprised if somebody is lying, but anything can happen, especially at a place like Rikers. So if you have been to Rikers or know somebody that's at Rikers, please be careful, man. Please be careful. It's very fucked up down there. You could easily run into shit down there. Okay? I will pray for those that's incarcerated at Rikers Island. Even though I'm not there, I could have been there, but I still say prayers for them because of Khalid Browder. So this is what makes me want to speak out because of the Khalid Browder situation. Okay? Because of the way I was treated by both the police and the courts. But the one thing that I'm happy about is that I never got the shit beat out of me by the police, unlike Eric Adams did. That's why he went to become a cop to combat the racist fucks that terrorize black youth. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to put an end to racism, and he's running for mayor. So if you got it in you, vote for him. He needs your vote, and he wants to hear your voice. Your voice needs to be heard. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't want to be no cop. I could never be a cop. Hell, fucking Tupac Shakur, he would never want to be a cop. And I also want to tell you something else. This chick that I used to fuck with back in the day, when we spoke years back, she told me point blank, the last thing I want to be is a motherfucking pig. And you know what? I agree with her. Because she too had been mistreated by the police. I will not mention her name, but the cops used to fuck with her a lot as a teenager. Okay? They once fucked with me as a 10, 11-year-old growing up in Jamaica, Queens. Okay? So yeah, I know what it's like to have cops fuck with you for no reason. And to be thrown in jail for nothing, to be fucking humiliated. I think of Khalid Browder all the time whenever I think about my situation. So yeah, I know you too would think about it too if you ever had to go through the same shit that me, Browder, and the rest of us did when we was in jail, Rikers or not. But I'm telling you, this needs to fucking stop on principle, man. End the story, man. I don't hear no fucking excuses, nothing. There's no excuse for the SEALs to be fucking around with the inmates like that. They may be facing some serious charges, but you don't treat them like a bunch of fucking bitches and not expect them to defend themselves. You understand me? Capiche? Don't fuck around, y'all. Stay out of jail. Stay in your workplaces. Stay in your house if possible. If you don't got nowhere to go. Because motherfuckers is bugging out here. Especially with this pandemic. We're in the late stages, but still. That also tells you right there that crime is going to get even worse once this pandemic drowns. But a lot of shit has happened with this virus and all, But I'm glad it's inspired us to be strong. Especially, with the death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. I'm glad our voices spoke even louder. I am very thankful for this moment here. I am very glad to have signed up to YouTube to share personal experience and recent stories that all the audience members can relate to. That's why my channel does so well, because I bring stuff out that everybody can relate to and share within themselves, within their friends and family, okay? And I hope that I do so well that I don't ever consider retiring. I could have been a radio DJ. I could have been a newspaper journalist, if not for YouTube. And I'm going to tell you something else. The man in the black mask would never have resorted to YouTube had this virus not hit in the first place. Okay, I use this as an opportunity to speak and document on some of the things that's going on in the now, especially with us as minorities and this political fucking warfare that we're under. So anyway, thank you for taking the time to listen to the man in the black mask. If he has another story to get out, he'll get it out, no problem. But don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my other Rikers Island videos. Okay, I love these stories about jail. I mean, they're interesting at one point because it reminds me of my experience with the legal system. That's why I like to bring these stories out to the spotlight. And I'm glad I have done it. So check them out. If you have any comments regarding this story here, drop a question or a comment or a story, whatever, underneath my window. It's up to you. But this is a very interesting story indeed, especially to me. I don't know about you, but it's definitely interesting to me, and I'm glad I brought it up. But this is the better version than the last one. The last one got fucked up, so I deleted that. But this is it, man. This gives everything in full detail. Like, subscribe, question underneath the screen, whatever. Until then, good luck, be well, and have a good day. Thank you for your service.